You're just bought into another dimension. A dimension not only of bad beats and busted draws, but of decisions so bizarre they defy logic. You've crossed into a land where min raises spell doom, and a four-way all-in with queen high makes perfect sense. You've stepped out of reality and into the absurd, the unpredictable, the unexplainable. You've just pulled up a seat to the low-stakes zone.
What is going on, everybody? Heading back up to the barrel tonight for a little something different. They've got a Deepstack tournament running tonight. I'm going to actually buy into that, and if it works out that I get enough notable hands, I'm going to make a vlog out of it. So if you're seeing this, maybe I ran well. If you don't see it, then I probably didn't. But we're tuning up for the World Series of Poker. We're heading out there in about a week and 8 days, somewhere around there. Going to be playing in the Monster Stack. It's a $1,500 buy-in, so I figured this would be a good little tune-up, considering, to be perfectly honest, I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to tournaments. So we're going to see if we can run it up and get a little practice under our belt before we go throw $1,500 at a tournament we probably don't have much of a chance of winning in a few weeks. So we're going to head up on in there, going to throw everybody for a loop when we play this tournament instead of cash, but you know what? Keep them guessing. That's part of poker, right? We'll see you guys in there.
In this first hand, the blinds are 100, 200, 200, and I've got 28,000 left from my starting stack of 30,000. The low jack opens to 900 directly to my right, and I look down at a couple of black jacks. I definitely want to 3-bet this hand. I want to take it in position and heads up if possible. Trying to take on the world with two-piece McJiggity is usually a way to go broke. I raised to 2100. The button, big blind, and low jack all call, so my plan is working out exactly as I drew it up. Flop is 7-5 deuce with a couple of diamonds, so a pretty good flop for jacks, although there's lots of possible draws that people could be in there with. The big blind and low jack both check to me, and I bet a fairly chunky $5,000 into this pot.
That's too much! That's good!
The button calls pretty quickly, but the other two players get out of the way. I noticed this button player had been fairly active but not very aggressive, so I'm thinking I'm probably ahead at this point. She may have a pair or some sort of draw. The turn is the queen of spades, and even though this is an overcard to my pair, I feel this is fairly brickish. There's not a lot of queens people should be calling my flop bet with unless they happen to have queen X of diamonds. I look over the button's remaining stack and she only has about 6,000 remaining. I go ahead and put her all in, and she calls off right away saying she's ready to rebuy. She shows 4 of clubs, 3 of hearts for an open-ended straight draw. The river is a 3 of spades, so even though she pairs up, my jacks hold. I pick up a nice pot and she's on her way to the rebuy line. A couple of levels later and we're playing 300, 600, 600. Under the gun limps before the middle position player raises. I look down at ace-king offsuit and decide to throw in a 3-bet. Same principle as the jacks, I want to get this heads up and in position if possible. Only the middle position player calls and we're going to a flop heads up. 9-8-4 rainbow. Not exactly what I'm hoping for with ace-king, but I still might be ahead. The middle position player checks and I continue for about a third pot size bet of 3,200. I'm not able to shake him yet, so we're going to go see a turn. The 6 of clubs comes in on the turn and I don't like this card at all. He could have paired up or possibly even made a straight, calling with a lot of middling cards on the flop. After he checks, I decide to check behind. The river pairs the board with the 8 of hearts, and now he leads out for 7,000. I can't exactly put my finger on why I felt like he was bluffing, but I felt like he was floating me on the flop with a couple of big overcards. I think if he had some sort of showdown value hand, he would have checked and hope I checked behind. So this is really polarizing bet in my opinion. He's either got trip 8s, a straight, or absolutely nothing. We're still fairly early in the tournament, and this call isn't going to be detrimental to my stack if I'm wrong. So I flick in the call, he says ace high, and I show him the nut ace high and take down a nice pot. I actually ran this hand through GTO Wizard, and it said that I should be calling this hand more often than not on the river, so I feel like I made the right play. I did have to take some liberties in the study because according to GTO Wizard, once I put in the 3-bet pre-flop, he should have been folding ace-jack, and he never should have been continuing after the flop bet either. So I guess he played just about every street incorrectly, and I played every street pretty much spot on. I guess I'm a genius when I'm right. With blinds at 1,000, 1,500, 1,500, there's a couple of limpers in front of me and I look down at ace-queen offsuit in the big blind. I raise it up to 6,500 and only the small blind calls me. This guy to my right has been fairly active and getting involved with most of the pots I decide to play. Flop of jack 6-4 is pretty dry. I'm hopeful that if my ace-queen was ahead pre-flop, it still might be ahead now. He checks to me, I c-bet for 6,000 and I quickly take the pot down. Not an epic hand by any means, but these small pots are very important in tournaments. We had a 10-minute break where we all had the option to add on an extra 25,000 chips for $40. More is always better in my opinion, so I added on, and that's where that beautiful red chip sitting on top of my stack came from. The guy to my right had been eliminated the hand before. I guess his active nature finally caught up with him. As a result, I'm in the big blind by myself. The low jack and cutoff both limped for 2,000, and I check my big blind option with the 6-3 of spades. Flop comes ace 6-4 rainbow, so I do have a backdoor straight draw along with second pair. Nobody shows an interest in this flop, so we're going to see the turn. Turn is the 5 of diamonds, giving me the low end to a straight to go along with my pair. I think I've got a pretty good chance with this board. Nobody showed any interest on the flop, so maybe nobody has an ace. I bet out for 3,500 and only the cutoff calls me. The river is the 8 of spades, and this is definitely a bad card for me. Any 7 now makes a one-liner to a straight, and the 8 is an overcard to my 6. I check, and he quickly checks behind. I turn over my 6s thinking maybe they're good, but he surprisingly shows me aces up.
I was not expecting that.
Not exactly sure why he didn't charge me more money on the turn, but I'm thankful he didn't, and I lost the minimum. A few hands later, and the blinds are still at 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, and I look down at a beautiful 6-5 of diamonds in the low jack. It folds around to me, and I raised it up to 4,000. The button and the big blind both give me a call, and we're going to see a flop 3 ways. Ace 8-5 rainbow, giving me bottom pair and a backdoor flush draw. This flop only minimally helps my hand, but it hits my range fairly well, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. The big blind checks to me in flow, and I continue for $5,000. Only the big blind calls me, and we're going to continue to a turn. The big blind is the same guy who slow played the 2 pair on the last hand, so he could be definitely in there with an ace. I do need to tread carefully and trust my reads. The turn is the jack of hearts, not really bringing anything new to the table. I continue for 11,000 here. I think if I get called, I'm just going to shut it down unless I happen to hit another 5 on the end. He thinks for a little while and returns his cards to the dealer. Not exactly sure what he had, but I am sure I'm happy with the result as I stack 16,000 more chips onto my stack. The payouts are up for this tournament. Looks like top prize is just going to be over 1,500 with top 5 getting paid. I didn't enter this tournament with the intentions of winning. I know it's hard to win a tournament. It's even difficult to make the money, but still it would be nice to bring home a few more dollars than I started with. Blinds are now up to 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. The button limps for 3,000 and the small blind completes, and I look down at a couple of black kings in the big blind. We're definitely playing for more money now. I raise, making it a total of 13,000, and both of the players call. We're going to see a flop 3 ways. King 4-3 rainbow is pretty much a gin flop for me.
That'll do.
Some people would advocate slow playing this, but I want to get stacks in when I've got the stone nuts, and I definitely would be c-betting with the vast majority of my range on this flop, so I'm going to keep going. I continue for 5,500. Both players pretty quickly fold, and unfortunately I win a modest sized pot instead of a monster. In the very next hand, we're in the small blind now, and the blinds are still at 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. Action folds all the way around to me, and I'm going to try to steal with my King 6 offsuit and raise it up to $7,000. The big blind didn't see this action and tried to actually raise it to 9,000. Since his raise wasn't legal, he was forced to call, but it definitely put me on high alert that he had a premium type of hand. 5-3 deuce with a couple of hearts comes down, and the only thing I've got really going for me is a gut shot. My plans of stealing were quickly discarded after he had showed plans of raising pre-flop. I check the flop and he checks behind. The turn is the 4 of spades, which is just about a perfect card for me. If he's got a big ace, he's got a low straight, and I've got a big one. This guy left his fold button at home. He's been trying to hero call his way all the way to the final table. He's been right a couple of times, but he has been paying people off as well. The moral of the story with this guy, don't bluff. I check and he checks again. Looks like I'm going to have to do the dirty work myself. The river is the 3 of hearts, bringing in a flush and pairing the board, but again, I'm not too worried about this. I still think he might have a big ace. I bet out for almost a full pot-sized bet, and he tanks for quite a while. I can hear him trying to talk himself into another hero call, so I don't think he actually has the ace at this point. Probably has an overpair like 8s or 10s, something along those lines, but I'm definitely going to leave him to his own devices and let him figure out that he needs to call me. He finally throws in the call. I show him the 6 high straight, and I take down a really nice pot. I may have missed a little bit of value by checking the turn, but overall I can't be too disappointed with the result. Blinds are up again. We're now playing 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. The hijack limps before I look down at a couple of 10s in the cutoff and raise it up to 13,000. The button to my left is the fellow with the broken fold button, and he decides he's going to rip his last 36,500 into the middle. Folds back around to me, and I think this is a pretty trivial call. He says, "Oh, I'm good," and shows the Queen Jack offsuit, so we're actually off to a race. Flop is King Jack 7, so he gets there. Turn 5 of diamonds, river 4 of diamonds, no help for me, and I end up losing a sizable pot. I knew he was out there dangling in the breeze, but unfortunately I was not able to hold up and take it down. His chips would have looked a lot better sitting over on my stack, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be this time. The people in the know always say you have to win your all-ins if you want to win a tournament. I think they might be on something. The blinds are going up fast and people are dropping like flies. Down to 18 players, so we move to a new table. We're actually down to 15 players when I finally pick up this hand about 40 minutes after the last one. My chip stack has been dwindling, and with the blinds going up, my once healthy stack has now been reduced to 9 big blinds. There's a couple of limps ahead of me and I look down at pocket 3s. In this situation, any pair is good. I rip in my stack and cross my fingers for luck. The small blind calls pretty quickly, and I'm just hoping he has 2 big cards, so at least it's a fair fight. The limpers get out of the way, and after counting down the small blind stack, it turns out we have the exact same amount of chips, so it's going to be a double up for one of us. I ask him if he has a pair, and he shows me pocket 8s. Cards are on the back, and now it's down to the run out. Ace of spades, 9 of hearts, 7 of clubs, king of diamonds, jack of spades. After checking the replay, I don't have a 3 on that board, so I'm going to have to find myself to the rail in 15th place. Good game, everybody. Thanks for the memories. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the first time I've vlogged a tournament, and of course they plopped me right in the middle in the 5 seat, so I actually had to take some notes instead of just recording everything and looking at the video later. But overall, I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know what you guys think. I will be vlogging a few more tournaments in the future as I play them. Tourneys have never been a big part of my game, but I am trying to expand into them a little bit. This was actually a tune-up for my trip to the World Series. I'm going to be playing in the Monster Stack. When this video comes out, I'll actually be playing in day 1 of that. So wish me luck, and we'll see how it goes. Until next time, we'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching.